Tuesday, and they could literally see what happens in class in the future. That's how lazy everybody is. Okay? All right. Let's get into it. How do you feel when you succeed? Good. Why? You did something good? Okay, what else? William, why do you feel good?
You accomplished a goal that you set for yourself.
Okay, accomplished the goal. Good. I'll take it. What else?
Feel productive.
Feel productive. Good. Okay, I'll take it. What else? How do you feel?
Hard work paid off.
Paid off? Okay, cool. Yeah. Put in some effort. Felt good about it. Okay. What else? Katie?
Kind of weird, kind of anxious, because that means I have like another goal to start.
You feel anxious?
Yeah, I finished one thing, now you're on to another.
If you guys don't read Caden's discussion posts, you are missing out. Okay? They are fantastic. Mostly because I can tell you actually put in effort to it. But it's a great glimpse into your mind, and it's thoroughly enjoyable for me, so keep it up. Okay? Why do you feel anxious?
Because I mean, I finished something, and now like I felt like, yes, my plate is now empty for 5 seconds, and then it's like I have to think of another goal to finish now.
Okay. So that's kind of that tells me that's how you're wired, right?
A little bit.
You're always chasing the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll take it. What else? Anything. Could be grade, could be PT, whatever. How do you feel? Yep.
Mine is kind of like that, but like once I complete a goal, I just have a hard time finding the next one. So I'm just kind of like empty for a bit.
Okay.
Of like, all right, now what?
Okay.
And
cool.
then kind of hope something sparks it.
Just hope something comes along. No, I guess I'll try this now. Okay, cool. What else?
Celebration.
Celebrate? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Yeah. Usually we feel good. Who do you give the credit to?
Usually it's yourself. Me.
Usually you, right? Okay. Why?
Because like you accomplished it.
Did you? I'm asking. Huh? Depending on.
If you're working with a team, then it's the whole team. But if it's with yourself, then it's yourself.
Maybe, right? Probably. If you do well on a test, who's responsible for that?
The teacher.
If you do well, it's you.
Teachers, you, anybody else? Core?
No. Negative.
No. Why not?
I could have done just as well outside of the court.
Huh?
I could have done just as well outside of the court.
Could you?
On that test.
Could you?
Not really good grades too.
Who's that? That is. Hold on, don't lose what you said. What's up, Trent? Okay, what's your name? Remind me? That's right. Sorry. I was looking for a longer name. All I saw was a lot of letters. If you could have done just as well outside the core, why are you in the core? Money, I can get money anywhere. You can get other scholarships. The Corps has a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. That's a good thing. Okay, but you can get scholarships elsewhere if you get good enough grades, right? Or other places. Some of you touched on the teacher. What about parents? Friends, upperclassmen? Flat stairs. What do you got, Hannah?
So essentially, like, kind of what I'm getting at is like, anything that affects me has led to this goal.
Yeah.
So like, even if I do well on a test, well, the teacher, that also met their goal and their contributions to get me to a point where I could do well on their test.
If we care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do. I'm just kidding. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we want you to do well. But look, I can't make you guys care. Nobody can. That's the hard part, right? We want you to do well, but it's almost impossible to get you guys to care unless you want to. What do you got?
I was gonna say it's kind of all these different factors you're mentioning are kind of things that provided tools for you to do well.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have to know how to use those tools. It's like, for example, like a builder. The builder doesn't give credit to the hammer he uses. It gives credit to the person that uses the hammer.
Okay.
But the obviously something necessary for him to do well.
Right, and somebody had to build a hammer, right? And then he had to get a hammer. Okay, right. So yeah, absolutely right. Those are the tools. When you guys do well, look at me. Right? Most of the time. That's anybody, most of the time. But you probably didn't do it alone. In almost anything, no matter what, whether you realize it or not. We'll see. I don't know if you believe it. You ever seen somebody on the side of the road fixing a flat? Or has a flat, looks like they have no idea what to do? You ever stop and help them, Wyatt?
Yes, sir.
Did you? Why?
Because they needed help.
Because they needed help? Anybody else? George? Jeffrey? Sorry, I always want to call you George because my friend can't say Jeffrey the way you spell it.
Well, if you call me George Zimmerman, then people are going to assume that.
Yeah, but did I tell you that before? My buddy Jeffrey Bean, the clothing store, he used to call it Goffrey Bean. He's an accountant. He's an idiot. Okay. Sorry, Jeffrey.
I mean, I stopped because I think like someone that I cared about that was having a hard time, I'd want someone to stop for them. So it's kind of like that type of thing.
Okay. Al?
Yeah, because it sucks to have a flat. It's really embarrassing, especially when you have a flat and there's a whole bunch of people behind you.
Okay.
I've been in that situation, so I'm like, yeah, let me help this person out and we can get traffic moving again.
Okay. Why?
It's kind of like the rules on the water when you're on a boat. If someone broke down, pull them in because you never know the day that you're going to get broke down. And you could say none of your friends are down there on the coast. Someone's going to stop and help you pull you in. And they're not going to want money or anything. It's just a courtesy thing. Because you
Okay.
never know the day when that's going to happen to you.
Okay. Hannah, something to say?
Someone stopped for me.
Yeah.
I asked. I had AAA, so I was like, please. I was like, it's fine. He
A
goes,
little
no.
different, say you're in the middle of Houston, right, than being out in the Gulf. Okay. Different. I mean, I like the way you look at it, but okay, got AAA, so you're good. Somebody stopped you. Have you ever stopped and helped somebody?
No.
No. Would you?
If I'm being honest, I don't really know how to like fix a flat. So if I stopped, I'd just like observe them.
Okay. Right. Here, I'll hold the flashlight for you.
You're handling the situation very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just supervise.
How many of you have driven right by somebody fixing a flat?
Well, yeah,
I have.
we're on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Most of us, right? Why didn't you stop? Okay, why didn't you stop?
Because I don't know who they are.
You didn't know them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Good. Worried about safety, danger, all that stuff. Everybody's crazy. Okay. Anyone else? Who's driven by? Huh?
You got stuff to do.
What?
I got other stuff to do. Somewhere.
Bingo. I don't have time to worry about them. I got shit to do. Okay? So again, you give yourselves the credit. You don't care about anybody else. That's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Bingo. Okay? At least you know that about yourself. Okay? Fair enough. All right?
So are you trying to say that we're all narcissists?
Everybody's a narcissist.
Cool.
Everybody. On some version, you're all on the scale. Okay? Narcissism exists within everybody. Just where you are on the scale. I'm going to guess Wyatt, not terribly narcissistic. Okay? But he is narcissistic in something. Okay? He's nodding. Emily.
I would say, kind of still talking about the last slide,
Yeah.
that sometimes I use the excuse that by the time I realize that they're changing the flat, I'm already too far gone back down the road.
Yeah, you're down the road a little ways. Okay. All right. Can't go back. Always moving forward. You're like a shark. If I stop swimming, I'll drown. Okay? All right. Fair enough. Ever see a student eating alone? Go over and introduce yourself. Did you? Why?
Because I've been in that point where like I've been alone, and I was like, you know, I can make someone's day.
Yeah, how'd it go?
It went actually pretty well.
Yeah, what happened?
We just like talked. Like,
Yeah.
how are you doing? She was like, pretty good. And, like, we finished our meals, and I was like, it was a really good meeting. And we went our separate ways.
Okay, cool. Made you feel good. Okay, anybody else?
We're all in the end of the conversation. I once said, like, hey man, why are you by yourself? Come on over here.
Okay. Is cadet or no?
Both cadet and non-reg.
Oh my God, a non-reg. How dare you? Okay, what happened?
Well, the non-reg wasn't very talkative, and the cadet was pretty talkative, so it was like,
Okay. Yeah, so if you hadn't me before or not, but hopefully you've heard about in-groups and out-groups. You guys see people in uniform, you feel more comfortable. Okay, or they feel more comfortable, no matter if you're saying class or not. Right? Non-reg a little different, right? See you in uniform, not so sure. Emily.
I was like that first beginning because I was like brand new to the school, and there were a group of girls that just like came up and asked if they could like sit down and eat with me. So
Okay, how'd it go?
I mean, they became my friends at that school while I was there.
Okay. Do you do that now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's not like all the movies, the Mean Girls, right? Where they're horrible people. Okay, right. Good. So now you try to pay it forward then? Yeah, I hope so. Okay. Who has not done it? Who's seen somebody eating alone and thought, man, I should go sit with them, and has not done it? Why, Jeffrey?
I don't know. I just never have.
Okay. But you've thought about it, right?
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, I probably should, but then I see my friends. I'm like,
Screw that kid. Okay, forget him. Okay, anybody else? Yeah, what do you got?
Oddly enough, the possibility of being rejected from someone you don't even know.
That worries you. Being rejected by somebody you don't even know?
See that for you.
I worry about a lot of things that I should not worry about at all. So
Okay, good. You are in the right class.
Yeah.
I hope you. Yes, ma'am.
So, like, I definitely have done that, but also a lot of the times, sometimes the people just kind of like want to be alone, especially like if they're studying or something.
Yeah, well, studying, yeah, right. We're talking about somebody eating by themselves, okay? Usually they have their phone out, right?
Yeah.
Most people have their phone, so it's a little different. Now, people tell me all the time, if they ride the bus, right, going around the campus, nobody will talk. Everyone's on their phones. Nobody will talk. If you say howdy to somebody, it kind of freaks them out.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're getting on the bus with their buddies, so hey, they're talking with each other, you'll never hear anybody talking on the bus.
Yeah.
Or any other kind of public transportation.
Which is strange, okay? Why?
Well, like for a guy going up to a girl, 80% of the time she's gonna think that you're hitting on them.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna be like, no.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's just,
that's true.
Yeah,
part of it.
okay, all right, might meet your bride. I don't know. My buddy met his bride at fish camp. I'm like, way to play the field, buddy. Just hadn't even set foot on campus. Met her at fish camp. Now they're married, 2 kids. Okay. All right. Most of you not, right? So who's done this? Who's got to introduce himself? Okay, a handful. Rusty. So why not? Why not, Katie? I love Katie's mind. Pick on you too much.
You remember, so you remember, I had you once for something like sophomore year, I think.
Yeah, I remember the exercise when I made you introduce yourself.
Yeah, you did the whole like introvert versus extrovert thing. You made me introduce myself to somebody, and I stepped in for the class. Like, you want to go to like Hooters or something?
Yeah. It was awesome. You did a good job. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Same thing though. It's like I'm kind of introverted, so it'd be weird to like approach somebody else and try to like spark conversation. But I kind of suck at that on the receiving end too.
Okay. Here's how most introverts make friends. An extrovert found them and brought them along. Okay. So, those of you who've gone up to people usually tend to be more extroverted. And you find someone who's shy and quiet, who wants friends just as much as you do, but they're not going to go up to anybody. Okay? Right? I joke with that all the time. A buddy of mine who was we used to call him the monk because he would never talk. Right? He's a super quiet dude. But he's a great guy. Right? And so you just have to get to know him. Okay? So, ladies and jelly spoons, you check in on fellow cadets? Do you?
Yeah.
How?
I'll walk into their room and be like, hey, what you up to?
Okay. Why?
Just give them a phone call.
That's weird.
Well, you call them. Like my friends that are in the Corps, I call them.
No, but isn't it weird now? If somebody's calling you, you wonder like what's wrong or why they're calling you. What do you think, Keegan, when someone calls you?
I don't know. If someone calls me, it's like not my parents. I'm like, what did I do? I don't know. No one calls me.
What's the Meet the Neighbors or whatever? And there's, I think it's the second one, right? And they freak out because the sorority, somebody's calling them on their phone and they don't know what to do. It's a hilarious scene. And the guy, he's like only a couple years older than them, and they don't know what to do until the phone stops ringing. It's a hilarious scene. Nobody's seen it? Okay, you guys are missing out. Okay. What do you guys? What else? How do you check in on fellow cadets, or do you not? Who doesn't? Why? You're not alone. You're just the only one who had the guts to raise your hand.
For me, this semester sucks. Like, I'm always like studying, doing homework. I just don't have time.
Okay. Not the time. Okay. What else? Yep.
I'll say I check up on some cadets, but then there's also people that, like in my old outfit, I'm on staff now. I just don't really see them around anymore, so.
So even your own outfit?
I mean, like, it's not, I can't get into the dorm anymore.
Okay.
So it's not like you can just go knock on the door or anything like that, so I'll check up on some of my old buddies and some of the, like, juniors and sophomores that I was close to, but then there's others I'm like, man, I don't know how they're doing.
Don't you guys still use like WhatsApp and stuff to contact them with them? Do you have their contact
I
info?
probably could.
Huh?
I could. I'm just busy and like,
Probably. Jeffrey.
Honestly, like, I'll check in on my in-group, but like, people that I don't like in my outfit, like, I'll check on them. Like,
Even your own outfit.
Yeah, I know there's people that
Screw those guys. Buddies only. Okay? Wait.
I mean, usually, like, if I can see something wrong with somebody, I can go check on them, but
Okay.
I don't really go in, like, every Tuesday and be like, hey, how's it going? Because in my mind, A, that's annoying, if someone were to do that to me, and B, it's, like, kind of a waste of both of our times if there's something actually wrong. But if I do see something wrong, usually I will go confront the person, but also ask, like, their buddies, something that I may or may not be close to, because oftentimes they know something that I don't. But
How do you know if something's wrong?
I don't know, I'm not. I like to observe people, and so usually I can kind of tell when. Like,
Creepy, but keep going.
Yeah. When people like within my unit, for the most part,
Sure.
I can kind of tell when they're acting a little bit different than like their norm.
Okay, so people you know.
Yeah.
Okay, what if they're people you don't know? How do you know if something's wrong?
You go based on the information you've acquired, and so you can kind of tell like what's normal behavior for people in a given situation, and if something's acting outside of the normal, your brain's gonna be like, okay, maybe something's wrong. Oftentimes, I probably wouldn't go and check on them if I don't know them, because that may just be the way that they are.
Okay. Okay. Couple interesting things he brought up there. Do any of you get annoyed if somebody asks you how you're doing? Why?
If it's like the 7th time in a row, yeah.
Why? Why, Matthew?
I've got one buddy that just like, it's like that's the only thing he ever says to the rest of his buddies, and including me, is just like, hey, how you doing? Or, how's it going? Are you doing good today? And it's like, dude, like we're people, like just talk to us normal. You don't have to just say this to us.
So is he insincere, you think, or is he sincere?
Well, he was like chaplain last year, so I think he means to be sincere, but it comes across very insincere because he's just constantly asking. It's like, dude, I told you I was fine like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, who else? Several of you raise your hands. Who else finds this annoying when people ask you how you're doing? We know you do. Aurora, why?
I don't know. Like for me personally, it's always like the same questions that I get. Like I guess it's just my face that I look like angry all the time. I don't know, but like people like ask me like consistently like, are you like angry? It's like it's almost to the point like where I'm not angry, but the amount of times that
You're
I'm
making me angry?
makes me angry.
Do you have an angry face? Are you judgmental? There's a term for that. I won't say it here because I don't think that's who you are. Yes, you know the term, or yes, you always
I have RBF really bad.
Yeah, man, me too.
Why?
For me, it's like I don't like people. I like to deal with my own stuff myself.
Okay.
I don't like other people getting in my problems because I just deal with it.
Okay.
Going about my day.
Okay.
But I do care for other people. If they want to come to me in my problems, I can go to them, whatever, and help them out.
So where do you take your problems?
Me?
Yeah.
Not myself.
Parents? Nobody?
Deal with them.
Okay. Who's the opposite of that? Who wants help? Whether you ask for it or not.
I would say I'm like more 50-50. Like
Okay.
I'll try to deal with it myself, but if it gets bad enough, I'll like go ask my parents.
Yeah. Okay. How many of you call your parents to just tell them good things? Just good things? You don't call and say, hey, man,
Oh,
this.
no, I told them like both, but yeah.
Okay. So we could tell them both. Who else? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you call up and just unload on your parents about all the terrible things happening in your life?
I did freshman year.
Fish year, more so? Okay. In there? No? Nobody? Or just not really wanting to admit to it? What do you do, Hannah?
Well, I'm terrible at just like calling my parents in general. So like I'll call.
Yeah, okay. Who doesn't even call their parents? You don't want to talk to them. Yeah. You don't want to tell them all the problems you got going.
I mean, I called my parents to tell them Happy Easter, but
Okay. Oh my God, you guys are hilarious. Okay, so far we're not helping anybody. We don't want to talk to anybody. We just deal with all the problems ourselves.
SOMS.
Okay, now getting back to what William brought up because this is very serious. Okay, 2 freshmen have killed themselves in the Corps last 2 years.
Last year.
Last year and year before. Okay, this year and last year. Did anybody have any idea how they were feeling? By all accounts, no indicators. We didn't know. Okay? It doesn't take much to check up on people. As a chaplain, probably extremely worried about it. Right? Because we can't tell. most of the time we can't tell what's going on inside people's heads. Right? Most of the time we don't check on people. And if we do, we're usually not sincere. Or we don't take the time. Or we didn't pick up on the very subtle clues. If I ask you how you're doing, you say I'm good, you assume they're good. Deep down you're like, I'm drowning in academics, okay, financial hardships, somebody at home is sick, all right, I'm not sure I want to be in the court, whatever it is. Most of us aren't just going to unload. If I go up to Matthew and I'm the chaplain, I'm like, hey man, how you doing? And he just starts unloading, holy crap. I may be completely caught off guard, but I hope not. I hope the chaplain will actually sit down and say, man, tell me what's going on. Emily.
So I remember, like, the very first time I had, like, a therapist session.
Uh-huh.
She asked me, like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, tell me about that. I was like, oh, like, I'm actually, like, not.
Right. Yeah, how many of you just say that? You're having a shitty day. Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you do that?
It's kind of expected. Like,
Yeah.
if someone asks you that nowadays, you either say you're good or I'm okay. Like, that's literally the number one simple response you'll always get from people you're talking to.
Okay, so what do you
Even if
think?
trust them.
Go ahead.
Even if they trust you, like, that's what I talk to most of my friends about. This is like people feel like they're a burden when they're trying to talk about their own problems.
Okay.
So they don't like opening up because then that becomes your problem, and then now you have to do something about it. And by doing that, they're wasting your time having to focus on them. It seems selfish. Like that's what I've talked to my friends multiple times about this kind of stuff. It sucks. It's just an awful scenario.
Why does it suck?
It's mainly, for me, why it sucks is because the mind is an echo chamber, and like any bad thought you're gonna have, it's gonna stick with you until you actually speak about it, but you don't want to speak about it because you don't want others to have.
If the mind's an echo chamber, why would you keep it in there?
That's a great question.
You shouldn't. You got to get it out. You got to unload it, whatever it is. If you want to go fishing and that helps you get your mind off things, awesome. Go do that. Probably kind of hard to do when you're in school all the time, right? You got other things you have to do, okay? But you got to get it out because you're absolutely right. It will stay in there and it will fester. Right? How many of you think about stupid shit you did? It doesn't matter. It's in the past. You're like, God, that was dumb. Still bothers you. Usually you wrote about it. I won't bring it up in class. Jeffrey wrote about it. Still bothered him. Tried to justify it though, huh? Yeah, it's like, oh, I did some other things that were good, so the bad thing I did wasn't that bad. Okay, but you better get it out, right? And I hope you have someone you can do that with. Conversely, on the other end, if you genuinely care about people, you should take the time to listen. If someone tells you, I'm not doing well, I'm having a shitty day, I hope you take a minute to question that. Why?
So, for like this, we're talking about the people that did pick up on the clues and stuff, but what if they didn't show any clues and they just didn't want help? How do you pull that out of them to get them the help they need?
That's a good question. You got to actually pay attention and actually listen. If you actually listen, there are almost always clues. There's all kinds of things that you guys can see and read about suicides and what led up to it. Giving stuff away, just subtle clues, struggling, checking out a little more, withdrawing, a sudden change in personality. Maybe they were really gloomy for a couple of weeks or months or whatever, and all of a sudden everything's good, right? Hopefully they're trending the right way, but that can actually be a sign as well. So you're looking for changes. What we don't do is actually take the time to pay attention to it. You guys can't even listen to everything I say in 50 minutes. It's the nature of the beast. I was the same way, okay? But if you actually, so that's why I was questioning what Matthew's talking about is whether or not they're sincere. If somebody just asks you that, how you doing? Frederick, how you doing?
Well, now I'm thinking about responding right away to say I'm doing okay.
Exactly. I could tell. You were like halfway there anyway, and you were like, okay. I mean, you're at. So if he says, okay, I'm good. I'll move on with my day. But are you good?
Well, I'm kind of nervous about the exam.
Okay, fair enough. What's going on? What's wrong with what are you worried about?
Just the exam I'm going to do well on.
Okay, all right. You been studying?
I'm trying.
Okay. You need help studying? What's the class?
differential equations?
Ooh, man, tough one. But me and Google, we're going to help you out. Okay? Would it just help if I helped you study? Maybe. Me and Frederick were getting there. We're almost, okay? I know nothing about differential equations, okay? But I bet if I helped you work through it and you tried to teach me differential equations, that would help you succeed on your quiz. Right? So if I'm actually sincere, he hesitated to answer. That immediately told me, oh, he's not good, okay? Or something's there, right? So you actually have to pull it out of people. Some people aren't going to. If I do that to William, are you going to tell me? He's not going to tell me. Okay? So I'm going to have to pull it out and just watch, see what's going on. Sometimes they're not going to. All right? But each of you should be doing this. Most of you are very selfish people right now in your lives, just by nature. Okay? Hopefully you've got parents that care about you. All right? You've got a support group, you've got buddies, you've got friends, you've got family, whatever. You have the core, if nothing else, okay, and all the resources that come with that. So, for the most part, you're worried about you. You're worried about your own grades. You don't care about Frederick's grades, do you? You care about Frederick's grades, Thomas? Huh?
Not really,
No, screw that guy. It's fine, okay?
I care about his grades.
Huh?
I said I care about his grades.
You didn't care about anybody a minute ago.
Well, he's my buddy. I care about his grades.
Okay, so you care about his, all right? Who's not your buddy? You care about Emily's grades? Huh? Perfect. All right. So if you see Emily and Duncan and you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Nah, not that great." What are you gonna do?
I'll be like, "Why? Why are you not great?"
Okay, good. So at least you're not a horrible human being. You kind of are, but you're not totally. Okay. But this is all self-centered. Have you gone to OCS yet? Have you done the half?
No, I'll be leaving this June.
Okay, watch. When you get there, you're gonna be with a bunch of people that are mostly like you, high achievers. They want to be Marines, and half of them won't make it. Half. Don't quit. Don't quit. Okay? Because when they get there, everyone's like this. They don't know anybody. Okay? And if they know somebody from their university, that's the only person they'll talk to. Right? When we get to new places, we get to new environments, when you get to your new jobs, you're going to be the quiet guy. Okay? You're going to be the FNG. You're the new person, right? And you don't want to talk, and you don't want to have any risk or anything like that. And hopefully somebody will check on you a little bit. Hopefully somebody will pull you along. And eventually, as you progress in your lives and your careers, you'll do that more. As you want to start a family, even when you get married, okay, which may not happen for some of you. Just kidding, seeing if you're paying attention, okay? Even when you get married, you're basically two independent people. You pretty much can do whatever you want, okay? When you have a kid, you're screwed. You're screwed. You have to figure out how to come together and take care of this little person. They know that they have it. We know you have the kid. You have to take care of him. You have to feed it. Okay? You can't just put it in the closet and be like, oh, I'll get to it later. Okay? Yes, sir.
I just want to say like two things. On the trust, like what you're talking about with trust, I'd say act like you trust people, but don't.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I mean, it's the same thing with like overbearing. Like I'd hope that everyone here and everyone like I come to, like tells me their problems because I'll totally listen to it, but I'm not going to do the same for someone else.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell anyone my problems. Like it's just my problem.
Even if it's somebody you trusted, no.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
I mean, it's not their problem. But I hope that when they have problems that they come to me. Like,
Okay, so how do you deal with your own problems?
How do I?
How do you deal with your problems?
I don't know. Each one's different. I just find a way to deal with it.
Okay, so how? What do you do? What's your outlet?
Pray.
Okay? All right, good. So you go to church.
Right.
Okay, that is a good outlet. Just capitalize on whatever it is. That's actually a very good piece of advice. Okay, I've mentioned it a bunch of times, if you've clued in on it or not. But people will let you down. People you think are your friends or whatever will let you down. It's probably happened here, unfortunately. It may have happened in high school. It will absolutely happen in the workforce. Military or civilian, don't care. People will let you down, and it sucks. So yeah, it's okay to be guarded, but you better have an outlet. If turning to God is your outlet, by all means do it. But if you're struggling and you don't, then you're letting yourself down. Okay. Did you have something else? You said two things.
No, the
Okay,
trust. I
cool.
like you trust people.
Well, Professor, the reverse is also true. Like, you'll let people down and people will let you down as well.
Never let anybody down in my life.
I think you're a liar.
Yeah, okay, so how do you deal with that? You got to deal with you. You got to sleep at night with your own stupid brain, right? And everything's rolling around in there. Okay, so how do you deal with it?
Well, if
Yeah.
I only let it go when the friend and I meet events, but even still today, we don't really talk at all. It's just more of like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Okay. It's how you're going to deal with it, right? And you better figure that out. Okay? What is managing up? Shit. Not all at once. Anybody Mays? No business majors? You are? Have you heard the term? Never heard managing up? Has anybody heard this term before? Trent, what do you got?
So I don't know the exact definition, but it's basically just being put in charge of people that are above your pay grade, or having that not positional power, but kind of what is it? Different type of power or authority. I don't remember the name of it.
Uh-huh.
But where you don't have a position, but you basically have authority just because people trust you.
Not quite where we're going, no. I know what you're talking about.
So I think I've heard of this.
Yeah.
I think it's where you kind of like provide feedback back up the chain, if you will.
There's a 360 review, which is not quite the same, but
it's
you're kind of on the right track.
It's not necessarily feedback, but it's a way of leading. But you're also like you're helping the people above you become better
Bingo.
by being a subordinate. But I don't know if I'm wording that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Why?
Would it be like first sergeant, a junior tank? They also take care of the CO, XO, all the seniors.
Yeah. I mean, that's a first sergeant's role, whether they're good at it or not, right? Okay. One, they should take care of the people, but two, they absolutely should keep the commander out of trouble, right? Your job is to take care of the commander with the people. Okay. So yeah, you got that. I can't. Engineers? No. The only one who's heard managing up. Holy crap! I'm about to save you years in your career. Okay, hard learning. Believe me. Some of you don't. Never have. Okay, it's fine. One day you're gonna call me like that weird guy, Dr. Payne. He was right. Okay. Managing up is exactly kind of what Matthew was talking about. You have to take care of your superior. You have to make your boss better. This is gonna suck for some of you. If you have a bad boss, it is your responsibility to make them better for your own sanity, for your own life. Okay? Managing up is actually making your boss better by being a good subordinate, being a good employee, being a good follower. Right? You have to do your role and you have to help them. And it should help you. In all honesty, if you're making your boss look good, be better, improve, maybe they're a terrible boss. You're going to have them if you haven't already. Happens all the time. When we ask about leadership, you always say, I learned more things from bad leaders than good leaders. Bad leaders are more common. It's hard. This is hard. All right? Managing up is you sucking it up. Has anybody read Lone Survivor? Okay. The book is more real. The movie is crap. Okay. But he gets into that. So in the Navy SEAL, and a lot of in the military now, there's a lot more enlisted with degrees. Okay? Or had some education. Right? A lot of SEALs went to some college or have degrees but are enlisted. Right? So they could be officers. They're also mostly all alpha males, right? They're all high achievers. They're all physically fit. They all want to be at the top of the pyramid, yet there's still a chain of command. Right? And what Marcus Luttrell talks about in Lone Survivor was how hard it was for him to listen to a superior officer that he hated. He didn't like the guy, so he was subversive. Right? He was always trying to undermine the guy he didn't like. Then he got put in a position as he moved up in rank a little bit, still enlisted, got put in a position of having people under him. They didn't always like him. And he was like, oh my God, I've been a total asshole to my boss. I was completely counterproductive to my boss, even though the reason he did it was just because he didn't like him. So he changed. He changed how he dealt with that boss. He started doing everything that he said. Every order they gave him, everything he did the best of his ability, and it absolutely changed their relationship. Okay? And then it benefited him as well. All right? Even if you work for somebody you don't like, you're probably not going to fix them. Okay? But you can make them better, and that should help you. That is managing up. Right? Oh, good. Got a treat for you. Always have to hold it. Okay. That's his ex-wife. If you haven't seen this, if you haven't, you're a terrible person.
Nacho fountain with 6 pounds of cheese on.
Different cheese, like it cascaded down.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, amazing. 6 different kinds. Swiss, Hawaii, what's the other one? Cheddar.
It's the greatest thing I ever heard of.
Eating the same trumpet. This is awesome.
Hey, baby, don't listen to him. And remember one thing. He's the competition. You're not very focused right
Maybe
now.
I'm
I
focused.
need you to focus.
Hey,
What?
I'm a magic man now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? So get ready for some tricks up these sleeves, alright? Watch your buns out.
Baby, that is real good.
Right.
Talk is like a pep
Did I tell you, you major piece of trash?
Look.
I'm sorry. I took you for granted, Cal, and you're a really good friend to me, and I never gave you your due. It's my fault.
I tell you the truth. I'm a little confused by your tactics. Yeah? I'm gonna keep acting tough until I figure it out. Alright? See you on the track. Come on, baby.
I love you.
I love you too. Come on. Abracadabra, Holmes.
Okay. All right. What happened after that? What happened in the movie?
He helped him win.
He helped him win, right? He was confused. What? Huh? What? Shake and bake. Okay. At first, Cal in the red. Again, if you haven't seen Talladega Nights, you're missing out. Okay. At first, he's real confused, right? He's like, why would he apologize if I slept with his wife? Okay. And it totally messes with his head. This is 100% true. Okay. He apologizes to his buddy. He says, I'm sorry. I let you down. I never let you win. Okay? And it totally throws him off. This is 100% true. Has anybody done this? Sounds like you've had something through. I can't remember your post. I'll have to go back and look. Okay? But it sounds like you've been through something similar. All right? Have you ever gone back to somebody, maybe somebody you didn't like, or as a friend, something went wrong, and you actually apologized for something you did? No? We don't, never done it? We don't apologize? Hannah? Did you?
My memory, like, I remember very detailed things. So if I did anything wrong, like, I'll remember it.
Uh-huh.
And, like, there was one time I apologized to him. They're like, I had no idea that, like, I've never thought about that since that day. I was like, oh, I think about it, like, all the time.
Okay, so you dwell on it, they haven't. Fair enough, fine. Could be the opposite. Most of us are not very I shouldn't say most of us. A lot of people are not very self-aware, right? If we did something wrong, if we did something to somebody and we didn't know it, look, it's no different than driving. All of you have cut somebody off at some point, whether you realize it or not. And somebody in the back in the car behind you just screaming at you. But maybe you were lost or you're singing along to a good song or whatever, okay? But that's because we're clueless about what's going on around us. If you don't believe me, just go drive a car in Houston, okay? It's the worst thing in the world, all right? We're not very self-aware, okay?
Especially on I-10.
Huh?
Especially on I-10.
Yeah, okay. Who said this? You may know who that is?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt. First Aggie yell leader. No? That's a pretty good joke. Yeah, I thought it was good. I had to find a picture of him when he was young. You guys, as in cadets, have brought this up before when we talk about leadership. Is it true? Yeah? Why, Peyton?
I mean, they're not really gonna listen to you and actually acknowledge what you're saying unless they know that you care about what you're saying and you care about them getting better.
How many of you last year, this year, being told to do something by an upperclassman didn't want to do it? Why? What happened, William?
Mostly, like, for example, we had our commanding officer, he didn't actually take care of his people at all.
Okay.
So every time he told us to do something.
You didn't care, right?
No, we didn't care, and oftentimes we found ways to do it our own way that would just piss him off, but still get the job done.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Good. I'll take it. All right. So, what is good followership? You like that picture, Josh?
I do.
Why?
It just reminds me of cadets going into Duncan, to be honest.
It reminds you what?
Cadets going into Duncan.
Okay.
Station to the left. They don't go to that one.
What is good followership? Jacob? David?
It's more so the ability to, honestly, it's selfless. Like, for instance, when you have a leader who doesn't do something or doesn't make the right call in your opinion, but, you're willing to put your goals and your, thoughts about the
Okay.
Having a dialogue with them, like staying true to the organizational goals and values while not necessarily sacrificing your own.
Okay, cool. Anyone else? William?
I'd say that it's also about like knowing how you fit into a team. It's kind of like going back to managing up is helping others.
Term that you just heard of today.
No, just because the way I was thought about it was helping others help you.
Okay.
And so knowing how you fit into the team and and accepting the mission, and that's how you help your leader progress the mission further.
Okay.
That's how you interact better with those people, and that's how you follow the orders in a way that is going to satisfy both you and the person above you.
Okay. How do you guys do it in the Corps?
We deal with it.
How do you do it? How do you execute good followership? Were you laughing? Why?
Well, because I think that the picture pretty accurate for a lot of people in the Corps. For example, in my unit, there's not a lot of independent thinking that goes on, and the independent thinkers get shut down. And I think that it's very much breeds a culture of sheep.
Okay.
We say we build leaders of character, and I think to a large extent it's true, but also there's a lot of people that get left on the wayside and fall into that sheep category. But I think
it's just a picture I put up there. Mostly just a prompt to see how you responded.
I think it's a lot of things. Just following in the Corps is a lot. It's either you very much just listen to the orders, or you say, okay, well, what if we did it this way?
I was going to show you another clip, but we're going to run out of time. Where does what we're talking about today fit in the workforce? Matthew? Everywhere. Good answer. The easy answer. Why?
It doesn't matter if you're a leader or follower, there's always somebody above you.
Okay.
You always have to kind of manage up and help people above and below you.
We're both using managing up, the term we just learned.
I knew it before.
You did, actually. Why?
We were talking about earlier, like asking people how they really are.
Yeah.
For your team that you're working with and whatever job you go into, you want to be better connected with those people and be more efficient when you're doing
Yeah, look, we all fit in somewhere, right? You're going to go to work and you're going to fit in somewhere. There's military, civilian, I don't care. Title and rank don't matter. You got to fit in somewhere, right? Everything we work on here has to do with how to do that, right? I can make you think about flying? I can make you a pilot. I can make you an engineer, okay? Animal behavior, right? Okay, nurse, is that right? What do you want to do, Aurora?
No, I want to do HR.
HR, that's right. Okay, give me. I'm a student wants to be a nurse. Cop. Okay, I can make you all those things. Right. What's really, really hard is to make you fit in. To make you actually care about somebody. Will you actually go check on them? Will you see how people are doing? Will you help the boss you don't like? No, you're gonna go home and whine about it and drink a bottle of wine and just bitch. Okay? Or can you do something about it? Right? This is the hard part. All right? This is what's actually difficult. Soft skills are the hard skills. All right? Differential equations. They got rules, right, Frederick? Okay? I can figure out differential equations. It's going to take me a while. It's going to be hard. Right? But I can probably do that better than I can make Frederick a good leader. Right? This is the hard part. Dealing with people. Okay? Fortunately, we have an opportunity to work on it. Right? Did today's lecture have a point? I guess no. I just make shit up. See what we can do. This week's assignment is your LDP. Okay, to go back to it. We've only got 2 sections left. We're just going to take one at a time because I also need you to read. We lost a week because of the snowstorm. We're almost done with the book, but please hang in there because I think you will enjoy it. So I need you to read the chapter, but then you're going to do the section on the LDP, which talks about everything we talked about today. This is a hard thing, actually. How do you actually implement interacting, caring about others? How are you a good follower? Right? You need to be able to identify these. And believe it or not, some of you, at least one of you, is going to come back here one day and be like, man, I had a job interview and they asked me about good followership. No joke. Okay? Or some version of that. Again, no, not all of you believe me, but some of you are going to do that. Okay? This is your opportunity to actually show how we do this. You're in a living laboratory right now, right? And when you graduate and you go get jobs and everything, you better be able to explain it. If you go back to Florida, you think anybody's heard of the Corps of Cadets? No. So Jacqueline has a great opportunity to explain all the things she got to do as being part of the Corps and how that's going to help her get a job. Right? You absolutely should be able to take what you've done here and apply it to that, believe it or not. Okay? If I just want electrical engineering? Electronics, okay? If I just want Caden for his great resume and things he's done and his good grades because he's got a star and all that, great. There's 1,000 other candidates like Caden. But do I want someone who kind of always wants that next project? Do I want someone who's kind of always striving for that success that I can taste again because I'm never really satisfied? Do I want him over somebody else who's just like, yeah, hell yeah, I do. If I learn that about Caden in the interview, I'm like, man, I want this guy on my team. He's never going to be satisfied with his work. He's going to be a great employee. Right? That's a great thing to know about yourself and use in an interview. Right? And build on, hopefully. And don't drive yourself insane either. Pat yourself on the back once in a while. Okay. Sound good? Okay, I'll post it, but it's the next section, and then read. I think we're up to chapter 7 now. Okay? Sound good? Go be awesome. Have a wonderful week. Wyatt, I need to ask you a question.